And one thing we have to learn through Christ is the reality of spiritual warfare. And I'm going to share a story from my time in Zimbabwe when I was learning that God was calling us to mission with YWAM. Is there any of our friends from Africa here? I'm just looking upstairs. No? Not yet. Okay, good. I can get away with this. All right. There was a team of 26 of us, and Rachel and I had been seconded to a particular hut in the bush outside of Harare, the capital, and it was grim. It was very, very, like literally dirt poor place, and we were supporting the church there for 2 weeks. And we had Samuel, who was 18 months, Abigail, who was 4, Andrew, who was 5, and we were part of a team of 26 people. That first night, the owner of the hut that we were staying in tried to smash down the door and come into the room absolutely blind drunk. We had no idea. And we were already in our sleeping bags at this point. It was quite terrifying, actually. The only good thing was, when he banged on the door, all of the spiders scattered. So that was good. And there were some hideously funny coloured ones there as well. Orange and sort of, I don't know, hues of electric blue and things like this. Anyway, we moved. So I went with the single guys for the rest of the time there. Rachel went with the single women, which stayed in the church sanctuary with 3 children. That'll teach them. The first night that Rachel was there, Samuel was screaming with an ungodly scream that said something else is going on here, right? Like screaming, and Rachel couldn't settle him. And you know what single women are like? You've never had kids. They kind of a bit sensitive, should we say, a bit delicate. They woke up, almost complained, I'd say. You could see it in their eyes, probably. But Rachel's got this crying baby. And something is wrong. And eventually the lights come on at the back of the church because the pastor stayed behind the wall that was behind the pulpit. The lights came on, and this big black pastor walked out, marching out down the church. Rachel's down in the corner, and he marches down, and he grabs Samuel from Rachel's arms, swipes him away, holds him tight. Rachel's like, and he prayed in Shona, which is the dialect of Zimbabwe, a dialect of Zimbabwe, and in English. And he prayed a spiritual warfare prayer because he knew something was up. Within the principalities and powers, there was something going on. And he prayed and prayed and prayed, and Samuel fell asleep. And do you know what this pastor said? This is the biggest lesson I've ever learned, and I wasn't even there. Rachel tells it to me. And so do the single women who've never had kids, ever. They've not married. They're not going there. But he said to Rachel, "You white people, you need to learn to fight." And that was my awakening moment to the principalities and powers. Because what was going on with Samuel was not just a crying baby. You need to learn to fight. And that's what Paul is saying in this passage. You can do everything through Christ who strengthens you. In need, fight in plenty. You still have to fight. Why? Because what's the worst thing in the world? Just becoming lukewarm in your plenitude. You have to fight.